Mr. President, esteemed colleagues, fellow public servants, and every Filipino I've had the privilege to serve, I rise with a full heart, a grateful spirit, and let's be honest, a bit of disbelief that 12 years have gone by so quickly. In 2013 and again in 2019, I was humbled to receive over 20 million votes each time. With that support came a quiet but persistent pressure to live up to FPJ's legacy and repay the trust that Filipinos gave me. Kaya naman sa loob ng 12 taon, I filed close to 700 measures and passed more than half of that, 368 laws to be exact. Pero hindi ito tungkol sa dami. These laws were meant to respond to the everyday needs of the Filipino people who place their trust in all of us. Today, I stand before you, not just as a lawmaker, but as your humble public servant who has learned that the real power of this office lies not in the title, but in the trust and dreams of the people we serve. Maraming salamat po sa tiwala ninyong lahat. Serving as your senator has been a humbling experience. There's nothing quite like being grilled in the plenary hall to remind me of what my mom, Susan Rosas, asked me when I first ran for public office. Sabi niya, pagbutihan mo at huwag mahihiyang magtanong. But truly, this job has kept me grounded, sometimes by gravity of the issues and occasionally by the weight of the paperwork. Whether by design or more often by sheer luck or lack thereof, I somehow always found myself right in the middle of tough investigations, like the Mama Sapano massacre, MRT3 problems, the NAIA glitch, the PUV modernization, and the wild world of ride-hailing apps and motorcycle taxis. At one point, I felt less like a senator and more like the Senate's designated crisis hotline operator. I am proud to have championed causes close to my heart, and I hope to yours. Indeed, I consider the greatest blessing of my life to have witnessed, if not contributed, to the birth of several landmark laws. We fought for every Filipino child's right to a healthy start in life, where millions of mothers and their infants were provided with checkups and vitamins in the first 1,000 days law. With the masustansyang pagkain para sa Batang Pilipino Act, or more popularly known as the National Child Feeding Law, we made sure that no child goes to school on an empty stomach because math is hard enough without hunger pangs. Ngayon, mahigit 3 milyong mag-aaral sa public schools at DSW daycare centers ang nabibigyan ng hot meals o mainit na pagkain taon-taon. Wala na sigurong mas personal sa akin kundi ang pagpasa ng mga batas para mapadali ang proseso ng pag-aampon sa ilalim ng Simulated Birth Rectification Act at Domestic Administrative Adoption Act. Thank you again, Senator Risa. Under the Foundling Recognition and Protection Act, deserted and abandoned children are not just recognized as Filipinos, but guaranteed full rights and protections under this law. This was not just policy work for me. In many ways, it was healing. Hindi lang mga bata ang kailangan ng aruga, hanggang sa pagtanda. Ako ay kaagapay ninyo sa increase in Social Pension for Indigent Senior Citizens Act. Dinoble natin ang pensyon ng mga senior citizens na indigent, may karamdaman at walang income o suporta ng pamilya. Bawat pensyon na 1,000 para sa mga lolo't lola parang I love you galing sa gobyerno. Hindi lang sa buhay, pati sa huling goodbye, may libreng tulong na. Sa Free Funeral Services Act na pinasa natin nito lang, libre na ang burol para sa mga indigent para hindi na kailangan pang mangutang habang nagluluksa. One of my first laws as senator was the Free Mobile Disaster Alerts Act. Filipinos receive accurate and reliable information in their mobile phones before and when disaster strikes. Simple man ang batas, pero maraming buhay ngayon ang naliligtas tuwing may bagyo o kalamidad. We leave behind laws that have not only responded to unprecedented times, but also paved the way to a more resilient and robust future. The amendments to the 86-year-old Public Service Act allowed more players to invest in sectors like telecommunications and transportation while still safeguarding national security and interests. New internet service providers like SpaceX are now making inroads in the Philippines because of the Public Service Act. Ngayon, pwede na magkaroon ng mga hearing ang mga nasa tawi-tawi at ang ating mga Supreme Court justices ay sila mismo ang dumidinig dahil nga dito sa mga serbisyo ng mga telecommunications. The Konektadong Pinoy Act will supplement this in bridging the digital divide. I'm also honored to be part of paving the way for projects like the NAIA Rehabilitation, the new Manila International Airport, and the Bulacan Ecozone, where progress isn't just a buzzword, but a reality that is already on its way. We've also made inroads in making the country a more walkable and bikeable place, thanks to the provisions we introduced in the Bayanihan laws, which we sustained in subsequent budgets. With measures like the Financial Institutions Strategic Transfer Act and the amendments to the Anti-Money Laundering Act, we made sure that our financial system is in check. Kahit papano nabubuko yung mga nagtatago ng pera katulad nung sa POGO hearings. Kailangan lang natin i-fund pa sila ng mas mabuti para lumawak ang kanilang supervision. Laws like the Anti-Financial Account Scamming Act, AFASA, and the SIM Registration Act now act as our shields against scammers. Nitong nakaraang taon lang, may 3.6 billion spam messages at 3.3 million na SIMs na ginagamit sa krimen at napa-decommission natin sa mga telcos. Sa ngalan naman ng serbisyo publiko, humigit kumulang 143 franchises ang ating naaprubahan simula 2016 mula major broadcast companies tulad ng GMA, TV5, Manila Broadcasting Company at Signal TV. Sayang, hindi umabot ng ABS-CBN. Religious broadcasters gaya ng Iglesia ni Cristo at CBCP, tatlong major telco players na Smart, Globe at Dito, water providers na Maynilad at Manila Water, power distributors tulad ng More Power at Negros Electric, pati na ang mga airlines gaya ng Skyjet at Air Philippines. Iba-ibang sektor para akong nangolekta ng diploma ng engineering sa kuryente at tubig, masters in ICT, pilot license, pati divinity. Para maiwasan ang buong araw ng pila sa mga transport offices, we also push for the creation and upgrade of 65 LTO offices, 3 LTFRB, and 3 Marina offices nationwide since 2016 para hindi na masyadong malayo ang biyahe ng ating mga kababayan para lamang kumuha ng lisensya at iba pang mga permits. Maliit na bagay pero malaking ginhawa para sa nagre-renew ng lisensya at nagre-rehistro ng kanilang mga sasakyan. We also tackled red tape with longer passport and driver's license validity. Since its implementation, our passports are now valid for 10 years, while more than 10 million individuals have benefited from extended validity of driver's licenses. 10 years din. Ang buhay ngayon ng Pilipino, hindi na puro pila, puro biyahe. I won't bore you with a long list. After all, 12 years is a long time, and I've given you a long list already. The Senate President so generously gave me this time to say my goodbyes. But in that time, I'm proud to have worked on thousands of measures, survived endless hours of hearings, and collaborated with so many brilliant experts who made the journey worthwhile. The laws I mentioned earlier are just a small sample of what we accomplished together. So instead of a laundry list, let me just say it's been quite a ride. There are a few measures in the pipeline, bills we're hoping to pass in the 19th Congress, like the Revised Animal Welfare Act, but I leave that to all of you because I know a lot of you are animal lovers. Having had the privilege and occasional headache of chairing committees from finance, economic affairs to public services, banks, public information, and public order, I've learned that keeping your cool is just as vital as keeping your facts straight, especially during marathon hearings that last so long. Our Mondays turn into Tuesdays and so on. My sincerest thanks to all the resource persons who braved the hot seat, survived the grilling, and somehow managed to keep us awake, maging ito man ay gulat o galit. To all government agencies who I have called upon during my hearings who are now marked safe. As I exit the Senate, I leave with no regrets. Of course, none of this would have been possible without the support of my colleagues, especially the able sponsors of the law I've mentioned, Senators Mark Villar, Senator Risa, several bills, in fact, and that are laws, Senator Bam Aquino, Senator Amy Marcos, Senator Alan Cayetano. Our hardworking Senate staff and Secretariat, Committee Secretariat, and the Filipino people who never failed to remind me sometimes loudly on social media of what truly matters. Thank you for keeping me honest, keeping me humble, and keeping me on my toes, and sometimes awake at night. To my fellow senators from past and present, and those incoming as well, the Senate is a chamber where only the prepared, not necessarily the popular, endure. I have it in your hands and your conscience. Every moment in these halls has been a teachable moment, and I can only hope that I have returned the same to each of you. Please permit me a final roll call. To my fellow graduating senators, my classmate since 2013, Senator Nancy Binay, Coco Pimentel, and also Senator Francis Tolentino, Bong Revilla, and also another classmate since 2013, Senator Villar. Congratulations. After years of debates, interpellations, and endless sessions, we can finally rest, or at least pretend we will. Alam ko si Nancy hindi, kasi babalik sa Makati. You've left your mark on this chamber and on me. To Senator Nancy, whose family history with mine is colorful, but whose friendship has never been black or white. Your sharp wit and radiant smile will surely brighten Makati City Hall. Senator Nancy, even if she's seemingly quiet, has the most insightful grasp of issues and has all the inside information. To the minority leader par excellence, Senator Coco Pimentel, who gave me the book that I will always cherish on 2004. Magkasama tayo since 2004. Insistent, unyielding, a true son of his father. My dad really admired your father, who valued being right over being popular. Thank you, sir. To majority leader whose legal mind defended our seas with unwavering resolve, Senator Tol, I pray for your return. Senator Bong Revilla danced into the hearts of many and repaid the trust with meaningful bills in his third term, including bills for teachers and allowances for teachers, and always has a kind heart, who always helps those who are struggling in their campaign. I know you helped me in 2013. Thank you, Sen Bong. We await your return in the Senate. To the Villars, Mama Bear Cynthia, who has shown Quiet Bear Mark the ropes. Mark's defense of the Maharlika bill was strong, and we look forward to Senator Camille's arrival. Thank you, Senator Cynthia, for helping us pass in the Senate the Animal Welfare Bill. Thank you. Actually, talagang malaking tulong ito at pinagbigyan talaga ako ni Senator Cynthia. Sabi ko, last minute request. And dahil sanay na kahit hindi pa napapasa ang Animal Welfare Bill sa House, nalagyan na niya ng funding sa susunod na bill ng livestock. Pero merong animal welfare category doon. Senator Mark, thank you also for your kindness always. To Senator now Secretary Sani Angara, even if you're not exactly here in the chamber now, thank you for leading us as your steadfast chairperson of the Finance Committee, proving you can handle big numbers and bigger challenges. Now, as DepEd Secretary, we're counting on you to balance the classroom chaos with the same steady hand. And to the senators who will continue serving in the 20th Congress, congratulations. You get to work nonstop all over again. But seriously, your dedication has been the backbone of this Senate. And I am excited to see you carry the torch forward. Thank you, Senator Win, for ably steering hearings and personally attending TWGs. Ikaw ang pinakamasipag na staff ng Senado. We might as well rename the committee Ways and Win. Talagang laging handa, may notebook palagi. Thank you, Senator Joel, for your energizing brews, your jokes, your stories, and for standing with me when it truly counted. I am relieved that you are still here to champion important causes that are dear to my heart, like the welfare of our PUV drivers, for I know that someone as passionate and dedicated as you will continue to fight for always upholding the interest of the Senate as an institution. To the formidable Cayetano duo, Alan and Pia, few Senate twosomes are as formidable as you. Your incisive interpellations taught me much, and I hope I return the favor. But seriously, Senator Pia, you really read all the bills through, even the adoption bill, which you refined. Thank you so much, also for being a true advocate for health. For Senator Alan Cayetano, who I fondly sometimes call Unicorn, because there are sightings of him, but when he comes here, huh? Oh, there you go. I rest my case. But who always comes out when we need him and will always give valuable insights and interesting viewpoints in a debate. Ano nga yung ating bagong term ngayon, yung kay Bato? Bagong term, Batorni de la Rosa. So, unicorny. But really, Senators Alan and Pia, both brilliant lawyers that have really steered the Senate in very productive discussions. Thank you very much. To our three Mindanao champions, Bato, Bong, and Robin, thank you for fiercely advocating for Mindanao's people and their concerns. Senator Bong, ang malasakit centers mo, marami talaga ang hindi nakakalimot na niyan. Senator Robin, alam namin, hindi ka palang senador, marami ka nang natutulungan, at patuloy ang iyong pagtulong at hindi mo rin nakakalimutan ang mga kapatid mo sa industriya ng pelikulang Pilipino. Hindi man palaging nagkakatugma ang ating pananaw, pero alam nila, pinaglalaban mo sa iyong pananaw ang tama para sa ating mga kasama sa industriya. Senator Bato de la Rosa, isa sa pinaka matapang na alam ko talagang ipaglalaban kung anong kanyang paniniwala. Kasama ko sa lounge, pinakamasayang kasama sa lounge. At alam kong hindi natatakot, hindi nagtatago dahil laging handa naman siya at pag merong hamon sa kanya, cool pa rin. At yung mga batas niya na ipinaglalaban ay talagang para din sa kapakanan ng ating military, ng ating mga kapulisan. Maraming salamat. To the two sons of Joseph of San Juan, let me finally settle this. Jinggoy is era classic, macho, champion of the masa, brusco. JV is era plus sleek, sharp, yet still fueled by his father's warmth. A true kapatid. Pareho ka kayong kapatid, pero si JV hindi nakakalimot sa kanyang inaanak tuwing Pasko. At saka syempre si JV classmate ng asawa ko, pero ikaw naman hindi ka nakakalimot na pakainin ako. Lagi mo akong pinapadala ng pagkain. Maraming salamat. So to Senator Lito, who was here when I arrived in 2013. Who was here earlier, I can attest to that, and remains our steadfast pinuno today. Your pulse on the masses has softened and strengthened our legislation. To the ever-gracious Lauren Legarda, who is like fine wine, not just in looks, but in timeless causes. Hindi pa uso noon ang climate change at pinagtatawanan siya. Talagang desidido siyang ipaglaban ito. At ngayon, yan na ang isa sa pinaka-importante nating issue. Pati kultura. True senators like Lauren fight long battles, not just viral trends. To our super ate Amy Marcos, who stood as a lone voice against the tide, proving that critic is a form of love. Thank you also, Senator, for your bills passing for the indigent senior citizens and many other bills that you championed that I filed. Thank you very much for your hard work, your witty quips, and your fashion sense that you give us ideas. Senator Raffy Tulfo, our man of action, no problem too small, no agency too big. The two Tulfos will be a force to reckon with. To Senator Risa, thank you for fearlessly probing the darkest corners of government. Your investigations are nothing short of popcorn-worthy, destined for the big screen. But seriously, I admire your courage. Thank you. To the esteemed Senate Presidents throughout my years here, Senate President Franklin Drilon, Coco Pimentel, Tito Soto, Mig Zubiri, and Cheese Escudero. Each of you has uniquely steered this chamber with steadfast leadership. Tito Frank, you were the best constitutional and parliamentary mentor that I could ever wish for. Tito Sen, you're the great fiscalizer that any Congress would be lucky to have. Senator Miggs, the chairman emeritus of CHARM. Your charm and diplomacy continue to bridge divides. And I wish that when you take a break from the Senate, you would be the wisest choice for the Secretary of Foreign Affairs. Thank you for giving me my most enjoyable time in the Senate as friends. Thank you. Senate President Cheese, I've called him many names, often behind his back. But more importantly, even if he's younger than me, he's my kuya, my confidant, a call a friend for over a decade. He stood by my father when no one else did, and by me when few believed. For everything, maraming salamat. Pero marami rin mga problema. Bagamat hindi mo ko iniiwan, hindi tayo nag-iiwanan, and that friendship has has actually gone beyond politics. Thank you. It's really nice to see you up there. Very formal, sometimes too strict. We're not too happy about that, but masyadong micromanager, but I know that we want everything in order. Now to my special mentions. Also, of course, I mentioned already Senator Coco as a Senate President also. Now to my special mentions who also graced these halls and made my life as a senator more colorful. To former Senator Ralph Recto, the Senate's sharpest interpellator who could turn any question into another question until it turns into a full-on grilling session. You prove that being right beats being popular, though I suspect you secretly enjoyed both. To former Senator Sonny Trillanes, whose fearless stand for good governance reminded us that sometimes standing alone is not just brave but downright heroic. Thanks for showing us that being the lone wolf can actually get things done. To returning Senator Bam Aquino, still fighting for educational reforms, thank you for helping me by sponsoring the National Feeding Program. I am ecstatic for your return, and I know that your return will truly be a benefit for the Senate and for the Filipino people. To returning Senator Ping Lacson, whose dedication to justice and security is as unwavering as his famous poker face. With you around, we know the fight for a safer Philippines is in good hands. And to former Senator Serge Osmeña, you are the steady hand, seasoned wisdom, and policy mentor during my early days here. Please know that your guidance helped me find my own voice and shape my view on governance, and for that I am grateful. Also to my seatmate, Senator Manny Pacquiao, I had the privilege of working with Senator Enrile, Senator Miriam Defensor Santiago, Senator Laila de Lima, Senator Dick Gordon. Okay. If I've forgotten, I'm sure this will be on the record anyway. And last but not the least, to my family. Neil, for 33 years, thank you, napagtsagaan mo ko. Especially na pinasok ko ang mundo ng politika, hindi ka sanay dyan, hindi ka sang-ayon masyado, pero ngayon, I think that I don't think I would be able to meet all the challenges without you being such a supportive and patient husband. Brian, I can say that as your mom, I think I learned about politics more from you than you have from me. Thank you for being my #1 campaign coordinator from 2013, and then later on, my researcher, my consultant, and then my chief of staff. Now, can you believe this? You're actually going to be in Congress. So congratulations. To my 2 daughters, Hannah and Nika, who is so far removed from politics, but who have also followed me to the best of their, as much as they could. I remember when you used to say, Bam is a guy? Well, they really didn't know much about politics then, but now they really listen to all the issues. Thank you also for supporting Mama and for being patient. I know, Nika, while you were growing up, I didn't have that much time with you because I was already working, but you've grown up to be a fine woman. And Hannah, thank you for working very hard at your job. Uwi na ako para sa pinakamahal kong papel, ang maging ina at asawa. Sa mga Pilipino, maraming salamat po sa inyong tiwala. Salamat sa pagkakataong makapaglingkod, hindi lang bilang inyong senador, kundi bilang inyong anak, ina, kapatid, at kaibigan. You gave a foundling her name, her mission, and her home. In return, I gave you my whole heart. It has been the greatest honor of my life. Salamat pong Nazareno. Maaring bumagsak na ang tabing sa yugtong ito, ngunit ang kwento ko ay patuloy na isinusulat para sa mga pangako ko sa aking ama, kay FPJ, kay Susan, at sa milyong-milyong Pilipinong nagtiwala at naniwala sa akin. Bukas pa rin ang ating pahina. Baka naman may plot twist. Abangan ang susunod na kabanata, sabi nga ni FPJ, hindi pa tapos ang laban. So thank you very much, and I hope you'll indulge me one last time with a very short audiovisual presentation. Thank you, my dear father. Maraming salamat po. Isa pa palang colleague na kasama natin, presidente na kasi, kaya hindi ko na nabanggit. President Bongbong Marcos na nakasama natin as a colleague here. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Paul.